Natasha,
Debbie,
show.
the show.
Welcome to it. Just two patriotic girls.
Learning about the world.
So please, don't take us the wrong way.
Deutschland.
Hello and welcome to the Natasha and Debbie show.
This is a worldwide Wednesday, which is Deutschland Wednesdays. If you haven't been paying attention for the last year now, it's been a year.
It has been. It's been
Year.
quite a while.
Yeah.
And on the show, when we're doing it, we look at a lot of different areas.
When we're doing it,
When we're doing our show here, our reaction videos.
Our OnlyFans link doesn't exist because we don't have one. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, we don't. We learn a lot of different things. And lately we've been looking at trains.
Yeah, been a theme by accident.
It has been. So we took a look at the tube and we took a look at a luxury train. And today we're going to take a look at the world's best train station and why we don't have trains around here.
Well, where we live.
Where we live
Yeah.
here.
We do have trains. In fact, we have a railroad track that's like at the end of our street. And you'll hear it in our videos in the background every now and then. But it's a cargo train. Yeah, it takes things to other places.
So
Obviously.
there's a couple passenger trains, but they go to limited places. So it's not a thing that we typically travel on around here.
Nope. Not where we live anyway. Well, you got New York and Chicago and different places. The bigger cities are going to have those types of transports. And we're not a small city. But we're not a city with a train for commuters.
No.
So this episode is called
The World's Best Train Station.
And it's supposedly in Berlin. Now, is it? We have no idea. Are they going to explain to us why they think maybe it is? We're guessing so. Otherwise, why make the video? But pretty sure they will. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments. And hey, guys, if you like watching our show, please hit that like button. We really do appreciate it. It helps the channel out. And if you want to subscribe, we'd love that. It's free to do that. So that's a little button you just click, boop, done. See? It was easy. Didn't hurt at all.
So let's take a look at this video and see what it is about this train station that might make it the world's best.
We're not.
And let us know your opinion also in the comments.
Berlin Main Station is my favorite train station in the world. It's everything a station should be in so many ways.
That
A
looks cool.
multimodal transportation hub, an iconic urban landmark, a place to shop and get the things you need, and it even has offices. And while there are so many great stations out there, from Grand Central to
Grand Central's
Shinjuku,
awesome.
Châtelet-Léal, and Antwerp Central, it's my view that nothing balances form and function as well as Berlin Hauptbahnhof, which manages to be awe-inspiring and human all at once. Now, Berlin's biggest station is not perfect. The bathroom situation is bad, the elevators are also bad, and you might get wet waiting for your train. But in terms of structures that physically embody the potential and the incredible technical efforts that go into public transport, I don't think anything else comes close.
We throw some bad stuff right out the gate.
Berlin Main Station is an epic facility, sitting just north of the Spree and the...
Can you hear our train down the street right now?
Freight train.
Yeah. Literally, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. It knows we're doing a video about trains.
It does.
It does. It's like, ooh, let's go to that house. Okay, sorry. How did he say that? Looking at that word, nope.
Yeah, I don't even want to try it because I'd probably butcher it.
Did he say that already?
Berlin Main Station is an epic facility, sitting just north of the Spree and the Parliamentary District in central Berlin, in an area that historically has felt a bit like the middle of nowhere, but which has developed a lot since the station was built. Better yet, the transport links to the area have only been getting better every few years, further cementing the station's importance in the city. What makes Berlin Main rather unique is that it handles trains on two different perpendicular levels, with an underground part of the station serving the north-south main line tunnel, which was built at the same time as the Hauptbahnhof and serves long-distance and regional trains, and an elevated section of platforms serving the Stadtbahn, an east-west elevated rail corridor that existed long before the station, and which carries every type of train, from S-Bahn all the way up to high-speed services through Berlin.
Wow.
The experience of entering the station at ground level is...
I have to say, this looks amazing.
Yeah, I was thinking
love
the
the architecture right here. It is so cool. And what we've seen of the inside, it's pretty awesome too. I mean, shopping and pretty much everything you need right inside there too.
I do really like the architecture of the outside of this. It's pretty neat. There's a lot going on there.
And I like the yellow trains.
There you go.
You know.
It's all about aesthetics for Debbie.
You do. You got to go with the looks.
Speed services through Berlin. The experience of entering the station at ground level is just that, an experience.
Is
From
it?
S-Bahn trains up above to long-distance ones down below, you can see almost everything, from the trains to the station structure and the various walkways, elevators, and escalators shuttling people around. There's just something so cool about standing in a huge structure and seeing trains fly through it above and below you, sort of
That
like a
would be
skyscraper lobby filled with glass elevators. There are a total of 5 main levels of the station, and the
Wow.
level you enter on
5.
off the street is right in the middle of what can only be called a delicious transit sandwich. Since
Delicious.
so much open space was left in
I like
the
that.
structure, you're constantly reminded of its scope and the movement of passing trains and crowds. On both sides of the station outdoors, there are large plazas, though the one to the north is a mess of scooters, bikes, people smoking, and cars picking people up. It feels pretty unfinished, and it's a bit of a disappointing exit from this most special transit station,
So
though I do
explore.
appreciate seeing above-ground utilities because I like infrastructure. Fortunately, the plaza fronting onto the Spree is much larger and nicer to make up for it, and from the plaza, not only can you take in the scope of the station, but also the giant tower with a DB sign on it and the offices which flank either side of the main hall. Back inside the station, the levels above and below ground level act as transfer concourses to connect various vertical access
Okay.
routes to the platforms, which each have multiple sets of escalators and elevators connecting them, as well as staircases for the lower level
Look at a
platforms.
giant mall.
On the stop-on
It
level,
does.
there are 3 large platforms, with one serving frequent S-Bahn trains and 2 more serving regional and
That just looks like a giant airplane hangar right there, doesn't it?
Kind of.
It did
looks
to me.
cool.
When he was going through it from left to right,
Mhm.
it really looks like an airplane hangar.
It looks cool.
Not a place for trains. I would never have thought. It is massive.
level, there are 3 large platforms, with one serving frequent S-Bahn trains and 2 more serving regional and intercity services. There are actually holes punched in these platforms, so you can look down at the trains humming along in the basement many levels below, as a constant
Wow.
reminder of the scale of the building, but probably not a good thing if you have
Okay.
vertigo or a fear of heights.
I do have vertigo.
You've
And a
probably
fear of
also
heights.
noticed that the top level of the station is on a curve, and this adds to the station's coolness factor and also makes for some really nice train photography. Now, as it turns out, there are only 4 tracks on the stop-on, so the design of the top level of the station creates more platform tracks than exist on either end of it. But this is a smart design because each directional intercity and regional track headed into the station splits into 2 platform tracks. This
Okay.
keeps a track free should there be a problem with the train on the other track, enables easy cross-platform
Smart.
interchange in the same direction, since all trains using a single platform are headed in the same direction, and perhaps most elegantly, since each platform is served by a single track, this allows trains to dwell for longer on each platform face.
Ah.
As you can see, the top platform level, and thus the whole station, is semi-open air, and herein lies one of the
Yes.
issues with the station.
The
lack
rain.
of canopies at the ends of the top level platforms. Make sure you bring an umbrella if you're taking a long train from the upper level on a rainy
Good to
day.
know.
Putting aside the trains and mobility for a moment, the middle 3 levels of the station, the ground level and what I'll call the transfer concourses above and below it to the platform levels, function like a mall. The central atrium sitting above the platforms for the north-south mainline tunnel provides the great views I mentioned earlier, as well as the vertical circulation, and each of these levels are surrounded by shops, restaurants, services, and some passenger lounges. Is Berlin Main Station the best example of a train station as a mall in the world? No, probably not. But
not
it's
supposed to
also
be.
far from the worst, and with such great views all over the station, I never find the need to plonk down at a cafe to kill time. And to be clear, it's not just cafes. There are actually a lot of retail options and services like car rentals, though why you'd rent a car here of all
Smart.
places is beyond me.
I was just wondering that.
Heading down to the lower level, there's still a sense of scale, but it shifts from vertical to horizontal with a long open cavern which sits around the giant island platforms connected to the north-south mainline tunnel.
I was gonna say right now, but I would actually spend a day here just to sit here and watch the trains coming and going,
Mm.
and for the architecture, as long as it wasn't raining on the outside part. No, seriously. But I do think it is absolutely beautiful. And I didn't expect a mall inside there.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's kind of ingenious to combine the two, train station, mall.
I mean, yeah, why
I mean,
not?
people are there, so.
One really cool thing is that this station acknowledges how awesome it is, and there is
Does
a
it?
model of the station in the station, which probably
cool.
also has its
Look
own
at that.
mini model of the station within it.
Well, we are in the land of miniature things,
Yeah.
so I mean, it makes sense. That's actually really cool. Huh.
That is neat.
You got a little everything going on in this place.
You do.
You know, you would if he had filmed that back just a little bit further, I would never have known that wasn't the actual train station and the actual train. I would not have known that was a miniature set. I
True.
wouldn't have known.
Of the station in the station, which probably also has its own
Some
mini model of
McDonald's in
the
the
station
background.
within it. From this level, you also have the connection to the U-Bahn, which is great. Simply walk across through a short tunnel and drop down onto the platform. And thanks to the semi-recent U5 extension, you can get to a ton of different places in the city
I think
pretty
I'd be
easily.
lost.
Better yet, you can also get to the trams and the station's bus terminal
Oh.
without crossing the street, using the same underground concourse which
Now
connects
that's
to the
smart.
U-Bahn, which is
That's
very
cool.
nice and
Very.
thoughtful planning. This allows trams to remain at street level, serving a normal, if fancier and larger than usual tram stop with stairs directly into the station.
Okay.
Now, as I've said before, Berlin Hauptbahnhof is not without problems,
Hauptbahnhof.
even if I think they're more annoyances than fatal flaws. The transfer between levels, particularly top and bottom, does feel long, though in practice it's all escalators, so the actual distance isn't too bad, and there are a lot of escalators too, so I wouldn't be worried about having to climb. However, the unique circular elevators are painfully slow, and so you basically would never use them unless you have to. Worse still, the design takes
Yeah, but see, I walk up and down escalators anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so
A
that's
little
not an
bit.
issue. I mean, it's just like steps. I mean, you gotta be careful doing that. Obviously, you don't want to get hurt and fall. Because I've seen elderly people that
Mhm.
fallen on at our mall. I've seen that before. I
Yes.
wanted. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it seems like there's plenty of escalators. It doesn't seem like there
Yeah,
would be
he
a
just said they're a little
problem.
slow.
Still, it's slow or not. It seems like there's plenty there. It seems like you can
Yeah.
move through. There's plenty of space.
Yeah. And if you're waiting, you got plenty of stuff to do. I don't see an
Mhm.
issue with that. But I think he's going on about the elevator here being a little bit slow too. But you're only going. That's not going up a little bit higher than I'm seeing this in the video here. There's always negatives to any place, but I want to know what you guys are thinking so far of this. If you don't know it, or if you do, either way, do you think it even makes it on the list, or is it definitely the best, or is it definitely not even there?
Mhm.
Like, I want to know. Because I obviously have no idea. But yeah, that's a lot. This place is monstrous.
It is
The size
massive.
of it is actually shocking to me.
Mhm.
fully slow, and so you basically
Shocking.
would never use them unless you have to.
I
Worse
see.
still, the design takes up enough space that you could probably fit two conventional elevators in the same profile
I
if the
see.
design had tried to be a little less form over
It does
function.
look cool though.
They look
A more
cool.
pressing issue is space. There's quite a bit of it on the platforms, but within the station, a lot of the other walkways are narrow because of the vertical space for the openings on one side or the shops on the other.
Okay.
This also means that there just aren't a ton of places for people to actually dwell that isn't a platform, which people generally didn't appear to be doing. I'll also say that the bus terminal, if I can call it that, across the street from the station, and the whole north frontage that I mentioned earlier leave a lot to be desired, and feel a lot like a parking lot shaped stain on what is otherwise a super impressive facility. The last
but
feature
that's on
that
the
bothers
outside.
me is the bathrooms, or lack thereof. My complaint can be summarized as such. Big station, one bathroom, costs money, fare gates, very silly. Check out my recent Substack article for the full rant. It's free to subscribe and well worth your time. With my minor quibbles out of the way, from the lowest level, we can descend to the last set of platforms.
Hold on. So how many toilets, bathrooms, restrooms, whatever word you want to use here, are there then? That confused me.
I know. Because it sounds like you said one, but there cannot be one
No.
for the
Absolutely.
entire place.
No. Did he mean one per level?
I don't know.
Help us in the
Let us
comments.
know.
I didn't follow that, but didn't sound good. Let's go back and see if that makes any sense, because I just did not understand that. Maybe we missed it.
The last feature that bothers me is the bathrooms, or lack thereof. My complaint can be summarized as such. Big station, one bathroom, costs money, fare gates, very silly. Check out my recent Substack article for
I
the
didn't
full
get
rant.
that.
It's free to
Help us out in the
subscribe
comments,
and
please.
well worth your time. With my minor quibbles out of the way, from the lowest level, we can descend to the last set of platforms, of which there are 4 islands, each connected to one of the 4 tracks on the north-south main line in the same way as on the top level of the station, with each track fanning to serve both sides of an island platform at the station. The platforms themselves are epic, super wide, super long, and straight, with more vertical circulation and better passenger flow than those on the top level, truly allowing huge numbers of people to wait along the platform for trains and change between different
That
services,
does look
reflecting
cool.
them being built in coordination with the tunnel.
Okay.
Heading back up, you can actually see the next big project in upgrading the station after the recent extension of the tram line serving it to the west. This is where the future second north-south S-Bahn tunnel will be, just beyond the current U-Bahn platform, and construction is well underway. This project will be incredibly useful because otherwise going north or south from here means trying to grab some random regional or IC train, and they aren't all from the same platform or arriving at the same frequency as those on the S-Bahn.
I don't know how old this video is right at this moment. I'll know when we end it. But if it's older, is this done yet? Is the construction finished? And let us know. Again, I'll find out how old it is in a moment.
And they aren't all from the same platform or arriving at the same frequency as those on the S-Bahn. So with our tour complete, what makes this station so great? Well, for one, it manages to pack a ton of uses into a station site in a very elegant way. From shops to offices and services, and the larger district around the station has tons more offices, residential apartments, and a bunch of hotels. The station is also a great example of an integrated transport hub. While yes, it is a bit of a walk from, say, the top level of the station to the tram stop, the distance actually isn't that great, and the walk is basically entirely protected from the weather. It's a lot better than many stations out there. It's also a station which was planned for good train operations, and while it's not perfect, I have seen far, far worse. In large part, it feels like Berlin Main Station is a victim of its own success, with so many people using the station and interchanging here. What's good is that all of the space in the station means that most of the problems with it can be fixed. New washrooms can be added, more links could be built to platforms, and more weather protection could...
He said washrooms. He's got to be Canadian.
That's true.
I think he's Canadian.
Good catch there.
Yeah. One of my best friends is Canadian. So when I hear washrooms, I'm like,
yep, he always says it.
Canada? This little spot right here, that just looks really like clean and cool and modern and sleek. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
I like the different colors of the trains. I know that sounds stupid, but it just is more aesthetically pleasing.
I like the yellow ones.
New washrooms can be added, more links could be built to platforms, and more weather protection could also be provided. But in the meantime, the station remains my favorite in the world, and an absolute must-see for anyone who likes cities or transportation. Thanks for watching.
Well, like Debbie said, we don't exactly have a train station right around the street here, so we can't compare it. I can say that from what we know about, like, you know, New York and stuff and other cities here in America, and what we've seen on the channel here with other train stations, it does look pretty daggone neat.
Very impressive.
Yeah, and monstrously big. I did not expect that. I didn't expect a mall inside of it.
No.
At all in any way, shape, or form. But I want to know what you thought. Do you think that looks like it's the best in the world? Do you?
And what would make the best in the world, I guess, if it's not? I mean, that had shopping, restaurants, easy access right next to the buses. It seemed like it had all the things you need.
He said it was like a long walk, but it wasn't that far of a walk either to get to like certain things. And to me, it didn't look like it was. It looks like there's this, like you said, there's so many things that you need right there in one place.
Yeah.
That to me would make it one of, because I can't compare. I have no idea. One of the coolest ones, one of the best. Have you been on it? If you're in Berlin, I bet you have. Or even our friends in the UK, like if you've been on vacation, been on holiday to Berlin. And are there other stations in Germany, maybe even, that you would say are better than this one? I'm looking forward to these comments. So please let us know your thoughts, because we want to know. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed learning about it. There was a lot there. And from people that don't live near a big train station, it's always interesting to see things like this.
And hey, if we get to Berlin, we're going, because we're going to go shopping.
I'm going to be very intimidated, though, on that one. I would feel like I would need a lot more information about this station to be able to properly use it and functionally use it.
Yeah, we would definitely need to learn a little bit more about it.
A little bit?
Before we go and visit.
A lot more. I would need a lot of information to understand how to properly use it. Hey, guys, if you liked this episode, again, hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. And thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the next episode. Until then, please love like Jazz.
Be as strong as Tyson.
Bye.
Bye.